All right. Hi, everybody. It is 1 o'clock Eastern Time, and it is time for my weekly leadership truths. So, if you're around and you can see me and want to hop on, please do. It would be great to get a conversation going around this. I am sitting in our boardroom right now, so it is a very rainy, gray day here in Toronto. And we are in the middle of kind of our year end here, and it's always a time to kind of sit back and look at to-do lists. And our leadership truth for this week was, or is, to-do lists never die. And if I think about the conversations I have on a very regular basis with members in our community, I would say that one of the things that can happen to all of us is that we can get completely overwhelmed and almost paralyzed by our to-do list. Like the volume is just not stopping. It's not slowing down. It's, if anything, it's getting worse. And so I think a lot about, what do you have to do on a regular basis to protect yourself from that? So a couple of things I've learned along the way. At an individual level, it's a great exercise, and I mentioned this in the post this week, to, if you've got a lot of things swirling around in your head, to get them down on paper and to put them into buckets of defer, delegate, and let die. Deferring, often we think things are urgent, but when we step back to look at them, we realize they're not that urgent. Delegate, something that most of us need to work on a regular basis, and to really push yourself to see what you can delegate and what you actually truly need to hold on to, and what are you actually holding on to because you just like doing it. And then let die is the stuff that, and I think particularly when you're in the middle of the organization and you're getting a lot of directive from senior leaders around what you should and shouldn't be focusing your time on. You know what? Sometimes you've ever had those projects where you start doing them and then you never hear about it again. It never is anything that's ever brought up by anybody again. Those are the kinds of projects. Sometimes you just need to, the defer becomes the let die. Like, I haven't heard anybody making a peep out about this for 6 months. Maybe we just let it go because other priorities have emerged. One of the tools that I have absolutely loved that has helped me a lot in this, because I think this is the thing about to-do lists, right? If you're one of these people who really likes going down and checking off, your action items, and every day you're adding to it and you're checking off, you're probably not seeing the forest for the trees. If you're somebody, on the other hand, who isn't really, good at keeping track of everything, you may be putting your attention into things that don't really matter, and then forgetting about things that are really like the big rocks that you have to put forward. So it's kind of two extremes of a spectrum. One of the tools that I found a couple of years ago, I really like it. It's by the guys who made the 5-Minute Journal. This is a tool called the Productivity Planner. And here's what I like about it. It does a few things. It makes you have to think about your priorities for the week, and then gives you a tracker for each day of the week. So you can start to track each of your, you list your activities, and it has a method called the Pomodoro method, which is really about having dedicated focused time to a task. But the part that for me is the kicker, if I can find it here, is at the back end of the week, there are reflection questions for you to think about how well you used your week, how well you used your time, and what you need to do differently next time. I think this exercise of stepping back and reflecting is one of the things that we really don't do enough of. We run from to-do list item to to-do list item, and often we're doing things that really don't matter that much anymore. And I would say when I work with senior teams and they've done their strat plans, this is one of the big things, or even think about your team and the strat plans you do. We put all of this energy into creating a plan once a year usually, and then usually those plans never get formally revisited. One of the things that you can do very simply, there's a method that comes out of the Rockefeller Habits book, and it's a method of re-looking at your goals, which is to take your goals on an annual basis, divide them into 90-day chunks, so those are your quarters, and then into your monthly targets and then your weekly targets. We use this at the Roundtable, and I'll tell you what starts to happen is you do your annual plan and you lay out your plans, you divide it into kind of the 4 quarters. A lot of attention usually goes into the first quarter activities. Once a month, our team will sit down and we will look at what we are accomplishing within that quarter and where we are in that particular month against those goals. Things that are not making movement on, it really stops you to pause and question why. Just yesterday, we had our team meeting, and there was a piece of work that really got reevaluated because we felt something else was much more important. I find that we don't do enough of that at the team level, which means that when we get to the individual level, we're scrambling and we're just adding things on versus reprioritizing, taking things away, letting things die, deferring things until another quarter. So for me, to-do lists, it's not just about the to-do list that's on your list, but it's how is that funneling up within your team, within your organization. So whatever level of leadership you're at, if you're feeling like you're drowning in your own to-do list, I would suggest stepping back, but also stepping your entire team back to look and see if you're actually focusing on the right things. All right, so that's the leadership truth for this week. If you have a leadership truth for me, please send it my way. And don't forget to check out our book. Could be a great Christmas gift. Short chapters. And there are some things on getting organized and prioritizing and sharpening your focus in here, as well as lots of other tips on how to manage your leadership career. So you can go to our leadershiptruthsbook.com website to get your copy, or any of our favorite booksellers, including our friends at Indigo. Thanks so much and have a great week, and look forward to seeing you next Friday for the final Leadership Truth video series of 2018. Have a great week, everybody.